But what it did do is buy me enough time to get a mothership out. And basically, I have the production to make all the other units that I need because I have so many production facilities of 17 warp gates. And I have the resources to replenish my army, so really I just need to buy time to get a mothership. And I did so successfully. Now, if you've been paying attention to the blue dots moving across the map, I have been long distance mining this. And like I said, if your opponent sees you have a nexus here, he's going to most likely attack into it. Now, of course, he sees my probes going back and forth, so he's going to attack into those anyway, but you gotta get what minerals you can when you can. And so he did clean up that small mining party that was going on. But now that I'm getting my Archons out, I'm ready to go ahead and attack again. And we can see, I believe, okay, maybe he didn't, I don't know. My opponent does drop me in my main base with some Zerglings eventually. But that's not really a big deal, because you can just warp in Zealots. And something that I want to mention before this fight actually gets underway is, as long as your Zealots have one more attack upgrade than the Zerglings have armor, they will kill them in 2 hits, as opposed to the standard 3-hit kill. So that's why they're very effective at certain stages of the game. And that's why that first 8 Zealot push is so effective as well. And so right now, we can see that I most likely should have vortexed those Broodlords, but I didn't. Don't ask me why. What I wanted to do, though, was vortex here so that he couldn't guard the Broodlords if I were to blink around. Unfortunately, though, he was able to keep a lot of his infestors out of the vortex, so a bit of a missed micro for myself. But if you ever see Broodlords clumped up like that, you gotta take the advantage. You gotta go ahead and almost a Neuroparasite. You gotta vortex them. And now my Blink Stalkers, the overwhelming production from the 17 warp gates is proving to be a little bit too much for Mr. Korn. And I'm slowly able to kill these Broodlords one by one. In the units lost, you can see that he did come out ahead in that fight. But if you can't get a good vortex on Broodlords, that's typically what's going to happen. Your opponent's just going to come out a little bit ahead of you. And that's why this composition that we can see here is basically considered the best in the game of Broodlord Infestor. But there goes the blink forward. Broodlords are getting taken down. If you can ever afford to do that, if you ever feel safe enough to do that, then it's very, very good to do. Now, at this stage in the game, I didn't realize how little money my opponent had. And I'm sure you guys are thinking that this game is basically over. By the way, I know I missed this. I did send a few Zealots to counterattack, but that's really nothing too important. If you can ever get away with a counterattack like I'm trying to do, then that's just good to do, because usually you will have more minerals than gas, as I said before. With all that said, though, we're going to go ahead and speed this up just a little bit. We can see he's taking care of these Zealots. They really didn't do any damage at all. Any significant damage. And now I'm just basically long distance mining from this base. My opponent is trying to get as many units as he can for most likely, which will be either one last attack or he's going to try to secure another base, but most likely just one last attack. And so I'm slowly amassing my units, and at this point of the game you can't really be too sure on the bank account of your opponent, and for that reason you want to just, you know, I almost just want to say you want to respect your opponent in terms of don't get too greedy of attacking, or too aggressive, maybe I should say. So just, you know, don't overextend is really the important thing to note. And I want you guys to notice that I almost have enough energy for 2 vortexes, as a vortex and a mass recall both cost 100 energy. But we're going to see me go ahead and try to do something that I'm not sure I would advise doing, but well, you'll get to see it anyway. My mothership is now encroaching into my enemy territory. I sort of felt like doing this. My original plan of this, not that this is like too important to note, my original plan was to recall in and then vortex his army as it tries to retreat and defend its base. But of course he just counterattacks me, so there's that. There's that small problem with doing this attack. I guess I'll bring up the units lost tab once again, or I think I did have it up anyway. And now I wasn't quite watching my mothership getting killed, so that was very unfortunate. Which is not good though, because now these units are like stuck here. So although I was able to kill all of his tech, he didn't really have too much gas anyway to really rebuild that army, so that actually didn't really matter as much as I thought it did while I was playing this game. But because I'm still in his base, you might as well make use of these units. And really, I would just, at this point in the game, if you ever find yourself in this situation, which I know that's probably a rare case, but if you do, you just gotta realize where are his broodlords. If they're on one side of the map, go attack the other side. And once again, you just want to keep outrunning the broodlords, and as long as you do that, you should be okay. I just want to quickly pull up the army supply. I am in the lead here. Granted, some of that is at my base. And on the production tab, we do see the mothership is being constructed, so there's that to be said. So, a pretty big battle going on right now. We can see I have basically every unit you would want except the mothership involved in this fight. But these broodlords are just a little bit too much, even though they're not too great in number. They do push back my army. And really, all I'm trying to do right now is just get these broodlords to overextend over ground, so that way I can blink under them and kill them. So we can see he's going to go ahead and do that right now, simply because he doesn't really have a choice. So now that I'm now looking at this army, I'm going to go ahead and blink forward, snipe as many broodlords as I can, and although he did come ahead after that battle by quite a bit, I sort of made the best out of a bad situation. And now we can see that he did do the Zergling drop. Once again, it's not a big deal. Just warp into some zealots and he'll be fine. But this video will come to a close shortly. Just want to say thanks for watching once again. As always, I realize this is probably a 3-part video, to say the least. But yeah, I hope I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Everything that you guys had questions on, and I hope I sort of went over it at least a little bit. But yeah, I do want to show the response to seeing Mutalisks while you're doing this sort of build where you get all the tech. Basically, you get the Twilight Robo Stargate. And if you see a Spire, what do you do? And I'll cover that in the next video. It's only going to be, once again, it's going to be like less than 10 minutes. It'll be pretty short. But as this video does come to a close now, I just want to say thanks for watching as always. And yeah. And so yeah, that was great. That was a great outro. Now, so we're going to see this last fight underway. And yeah, just too many units for my opponent to fight off. But anyway, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope I covered everything. And good luck on ladder, I guess. And I'm going to play some ladder games tonight, most likely, as well as the Playhem tournament, as you saw Flynite ask me. Hopefully I'll get a good game where I respond to the Mutotech. And I'll post that as soon as I can. There'll probably be a link during some part of this video to exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, this video's been long enough. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.